What happens when the truth threatens to upend everything we know about humanity? That's the question at the center of Disclosure Day, a sweeping sci-fi spectacle that finds Steven Spielberg back in his bag, masterfully blending massive government conspiracies and extraterrestrial secrets to remind us why he is indeed the highest grossing filmmaker in history.
And this movie left me with nothing but questions related to the extraterrestrial of it all. If aliens were revealed today, what kind of memes will Black Twitter come up with? Have we been confusing alien technology with magic all this time? Am I an alien? It's movie day. I'm Ray Love Jr.
And I'm Tre'vell Anderson.
And we are Seated, the blackest show about movies.
Yes, welcome everyone. If you are new to this congregation, grab a plate, take a seat, we don't bite. And if you've been here before, you know the drill. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and tell your mama and your daddy them about the fabulous conversations we have it over here at The Seated.
Yes, and shout out to those of y'all who have been sharing because, Tre'vell, I have news to share.
Okay.
We have crossed our 10,000 downloads threshold, so we are definitely hitting numbers and doing the things, but stay tapped in with us and also check out our Seated Movie Club at seatedshow.com/join, where we're bringing you more of this popcorn-worthy energy with exclusive content and more. And so before we get started today, Tre'vell, is today's conversation going to be spoiler-free or what?
I think we probably gonna get into a little spoilers. I feel like we have to.
Yeah.
And so we will do as we normally do. We'll give you a little, spoiler-free piece, and then we'll dive a little deeper. You'll know exactly where you can jump, okay?
Yeah. We'll put a little clip in there, too, to give you more time. Like, you will have clear knowledge that we are entering spoiler territory, because I know how sensitive the internet can be, child. Have you seen them comments lately? The people be tapping in.
They do be running their mouth, and we like to see it, okay? All right, let's get the show started. We'll start with our Fresh Out segment, right? This is our segment where we do capsule reviews of movies that we've been checking out. Ray, where did you see this last week?
So I've actually seen quite a few movies. For people who don't know, I've been traveling, visiting my mom for her birthday. Shout out to Miss Kim. So I've been out of town, but still making time for the movies. And of all the movies I've seen, I will say the one most worth conversation is Masters of the Universe. Have you heard of this one?
No, I have not. Let me Google. Go ahead.
All that stuff that only exists in legends and bedtime stories. Talking tigers, spaceships, and magic swords that can make a man as mighty as a god. Where I come from, that stuff is real. I have the power!
It's very much so of the binary, let's say. Because the lead character in this goes by He-Man, which, is a terrible name.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So just to, I guess, level set and let people know what it's about, think of this as like a wild cosmic sandbox where Nicholas Galitzine, I think is how you pronounce his name, he uses a magical sword to transform into a jacked hero, and he's trying to stop a skull-faced hater played by Jared Leto from taking over the universe. Now, I will say, Jared Leto is really tapped in with the voice acting. You never can really see his face. Like, he's completely covered in like a mask and CGI because his character is literally a skull. But essentially, this movie felt a lot like, what's that movie? Kind of Guardians of the Galaxy and the Thor Ragnarok energy, like really chaotic, but like throwing in humor with like the superhero fantasy of it all. And Honestly, it was really strange because Idris Elba is in this movie. And I remember tweeting like a couple weeks ago when I saw it, I was like, is anybody seeing the new Idris Elba movie in theaters now? People were like, Idris Elba got a movie in theaters? So they don't even know that he's in this film. And surprisingly...
Well, also, it's not his movie. Respectfully.
It's not. But he's in the
Respectfully.
And he's actually given like a career high performance in this movie, which... when you think about what this is, you would not expect that. But they really wrote a sincere, grounded character that has like some gravity to him. And Idris Elba really does like chew on what he's given. So yeah, I kept seeing the commercials for these and I was like, nobody's checking for a He-Man movie in 2026. And as we're finding out, no one really is. But for the folks who are checking it out, I haven't seen great reviews on it. And I was low key, as I was watching it, confused about whether this was like a real send up or tribute of the character or if it was trying to like parody it. Because it's just, the tone shifts so much. Like, I'm like, I can't tell if they're poking fun at the character or like really trying to like give the audience what they're looking for with this. But also I'm not familiar enough with the franchise.
I'm about to say, I'm not familiar with this franchise either, but I feel like this style of movie, right? Like, which is very like Gladiator meets Avengers meets the other Guardians of the Galaxy. It's in that kind of world. But I feel like all of those movies that we've seen as of late are all trying to, you know, poke a little fun, make it a little comedic, you know, kind of heighten the camp elements of it just a little bit. And oftentimes they struggle to find the right balance. And it sounds like this has done the same.
And it just feels like one of those things where it feels formulaic after a while, where it doesn't feel interesting anymore because we've seen it done so many times at such a high scale. Because I mean, Marvel is kind of like the peak of this genre. And my final verdict on this one is
this a Marvel movie?
It's not Marvel. So
okay,
but they're doing all the things that those Marvel movies that you
very
mentioned
similar.
do.
Oh, it's from Sony. Sony did it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And apparently the He-Man series was actually a toy that they created a cartoon for, but didn't. Yeah. Like, it just felt like a jumble of things from my understanding of what the franchise is. Just from like some light Googles I did about it after leaving the theater. But I can't confidently recommend this as like something that's urgent for people to go see, but I think it will make a solid backup option if you've already seen everything else on your list at the theaters and you just want to see something. Check it out. Like, it's interesting. Like, I don't regret the time spent seeing it. So that's Masters of the Universe. If you're interested, check it out. Don't say I sent you there, because that ain't what I'm saying. That is not a rousing recommendation, Ray. But I'm not saying to skip it neither. So do with that what you will. Do with that what you will. All right, y'all. We are going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we will dive into our spoiler-free section of our review of, what's this movie called? Oh my God, Tre'vell. Disclosure Day. Hey, real quick, let's be so for real right now. It's just me and you. You've been waiting for this big sign to put yourself out there. Well, here it is. Your ideas are way too good and way too heavy to keep sitting on. Remember when Seated was just an endless mess of bullet points in my notes app? The only reason Tre'vell and I have a show that consistently sits in the top 100 on Apple Podcasts film reviews charts is because I stopped playing and I locked in with the Stony Brook University Podcast Incubator. It's an 8-month program that takes your show from a rough concept to a market-ready pilot. They keep the cohorts tiny, like 12 to 15 people, so you get real personalized coaching from industry heavyweights who've produced for WNYC and Spotify. You don't need fancy equipment or even tech skills. They teach you the narrative storytelling, the editing, and how to actually build an audience so you aren't just throwing content out there into the void. Plus, you can do the whole thing completely remotely. Yo, it costs $0 to apply. So stop sitting on your potential. Go apply for the Stony Brook University Podcast Incubator by August 15th at podcastfellows.org/apply. Let's get your show out of the notes app and onto the charts. Steven Spielberg makes his highly anticipated return to the sci-fi genre with the conspiracy thriller Disclosure Day. Emily Blunt and Josh O'Connor star as a meteorologist and a cybersecurity whistleblower who get a terrifying wake-up call when they uncover suppressed government data about extraterrestrial life. This discovery puts a massive target on their backs, forcing them to dodge a shadowy corporate boss played by Colin Firth while teaming up with an agency defector brought to life by the brilliant Colman Domingo to expose the ultimate truth to the world.
This 79-year terror campaign of lies has to end.
What are you gonna do?
Full disclosure to the whole world.
That truth will upend all established order across the entire world.
Clocking in at 2 hours and 25 minutes, Disclosure Day is rated PG-13 and is currently playing in theaters nationwide. All right, Tre'vell, you know how we get down over here at Seated. We have to start the conversation by giving the director some. And this week we have the icon himself, Steven Spielberg. Not to say that people don't know who this man is, but just for the sake of following what we usually do, let's share some facts about Mr. Steven Spielberg to the people.
Yes. You definitely know the work if you don't know the name. Okay, Spielberg, as we have already mentioned, is the highest grossing filmmaker ever. His projects have gotten over $10 billion, and I'm sure that might trickle right on up, right, as this movie continues to be in theaters. He's brought us so many, right, legendary films, from E.T. to Jurassic Park, Close Encounters of the Jaws. Jaws is probably the big one.
Yeah.
Jaws is probably the big one, actually. Yeah. And E.T., I feel like.
And Jaws they just celebrated their 50th anniversary last year. I just saw Jaws, I think, in full for the first time when they re-released it last year.
Oh, really?
I'd only caught it in like clips. I'd never really seen the full film, and being able to see it in theaters was great. So that's another plus for AMC A-list.
Yeah, no, it is. It's quite an interesting film, and when you look at it with the appropriate context of the time period in which it came out, it really is like, oh wow, this man was doing something, But also for our people in particular, right? Steven Spielberg did The Color Purple, right? Had a huge hand in Whoopi's and Oprah Winfrey in particular, their acting and film debuts, and the ongoing success that they would have as some of our cultural icons, and so he's been around. You know what I mean? He's done a lot. He's one of those legends in the industry. He's one of those filmmakers. When he calls you, you're gonna say yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't need to see the script. You're gonna say yes.
Yeah. And he's so big that like they study him in film schools. They have a thing called the Spielbergian, which is like his method and how he approaches filmmaking with all of his different techniques and his close-up shots and the pace at which he films movies and the lighting. Like all those things have just like really helped to create a iconic director. Like as I was watching today's movie, I was like, oh, this is Spielberg. Like this is very much so something that only Spielberg does. He has a very clear signature in his films. And so I'm excited just to get into his latest works. Do you have a favorite Spielberg movie out of the ones we've listed or not listed?
I mean, I'm probably gonna go with The Color Purple. I just feel, I just have to, for history's sake, me being who I am. Yeah. But he's also done so many, so I'm like, I'm sure there's another movie that I'm completely forgetting that I also really enjoyed. Yeah. What about you?
I mean, I'm probably gonna go with the box office classic Jurassic Park, like the original OG. It's just so iconic. Like that's probably the reason why growing up I always wanted to have a Jeep as my car. Like it became my dream car. But I'm gonna go with Jurassic Park for sure. I didn't realize he's been making movies as long as he has been doing it. Like he's basically been making movies longer than my mom has been alive, to be honest.
No shade.
Yeah.
No shade. I also want to shout out, Amistad. I don't know if have you seen Amistad?
I've seen Amistad, yes. I think it may have been like the first slavery related movie I ever saw, to be honest.
I'm just gonna throw that out into the atmosphere. But then also, I just looked up I'm not proud of this, but one of my favorite movies coming up, okay, was Saving Private Ryan.
Okay. That tracks
I'm not
for you.
proud of it, but I am a military brat. I am a child of a woman who gave 23 years of her life to this man's army. Okay, I just am who I am. Anyway, okay, keep going.
So yeah, I mean, now that we know who we're working with here, I want to understand what your experience was like going to see Disclosure Day. Did you go see it with the crowd? What did you eat? Did you eat? Tell me about it.
I did eat. I always eat. This time I went to get some Raisin Canes. And so I had me a 3-finger box. Watch your face, right? You asked.
You coming on here talking about you went and took fried chicken into the movie theater, Lord. Okay.
Well, they have fried chicken at the movie theater, but I don't like their chicken tenders at the movie theater. I prefer Raisin. It's fresher.
I hear
Anyway.
Raisin Cane's is having a moment in LA right now. They just opened up some really big Raisin Cane's in Inglewood.
They're all over the
that looks
place.
like a
They're
steak-
popping
looks
up
like
all
SoFi.
over the place.
It's wild.
They're popping up all over the place. And I love this for me. Give me a viable option other than the hate chicken.
Please,
Okay?
continue.
Anyway. And so I went to a noon showing on Sunday.
Oh.
But the entire weekend, like, it was hard to find. I'm particular with where I like to sit in a theater.
Same.
And those happen to be the spaces that often, fill up first.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard to find a time and a ticket, to watch this movie, no matter the kind of theater. AMC, they have, the what is it, AMC Prime or the IMAX screen and this. It was playing in 70 millimeter. Like, it was selling out. Like, them seats were not available. And so I saw it with a packed audience. Mm-hmm. And we all loved it. I'm just gonna stay there. It was an interesting collective experience that you could feel the whole room was along for the ride, whether they liked it or not. Yeah. The whole room was along for the ride, and as we say often on this show, it's not as often as we would like, right? That you get to have such a communal experience in the theater anymore. And so I love that for me. But what was your experience like?
So as I mentioned, I'm in Tampa, visiting my mom. Again, happy birthday, Miss Kim.
Happy birthday, Miss Kim.
Yes. And so I went on a Saturday morning, which is, I don't usually go to morning screenings just because it feels like when children and families are at the theaters, and I like to go with, my contemporaries, I'll say.
That's the senior citizens time. That's why it's discounted.
Yes. Speaking of senior citizens, I actually decided to cross the bridge over to St. Petersburg, Florida, which is where my dad's side of the family is from, because I know they have a really nice AMC there that I've never been to. And so I went to that theater, which is the AMC Sundial. Really nice theater. It looks like it may have been either recently renovated because it feels brand new in there. But I went to see it on the AMC Prime screen that you mentioned, which is like, I guess, AMC specific branded like hybrid of like IMAX and Dolby, because they have really great sound and like shaking seats from the sound, but not like 40x shaking. So
you feel the difference between. Because I think they be lying. I think...
It's funny you say that, because I think that is literally the tagline either in Dolby or Prime, where it says "Feel the difference" in like that pre-show trailer they showed before.
Yes.
But honestly, I don't be feeling it, to be honest. But I do know that it is an elevated experience from a regular screen at the very least. I never feel the booming seat in that way. Nevertheless, I got there. I go to the theaters. I'm still from the COVID era, wiping down my seats in the cup holder. And so like I did my little thing, had my Clorox wipes, wiped them down, stepped away to go to the bathroom for a second. I come back to the auditorium to come see the movie, and the manager is outside, which I was like, this is weird. And she stops me, and I'm like, what's going on? She's like, yeah, so when you stepped away, we got some complaints that people were concerned about you leaving your bag in your seat when you stepped out of the theater. And I think they were just scared because of all the movie theater shootings and all of that. And, you know, my first instinct was like, is this because I'm black? But I was like, you know, I understand people have their traumas. After XD came and shared his trauma with the movie theaters and that experience, like, fine. But in my theater, it was very, very, very scarce. Like, there were maybe 10 people in there with me, and they were all elderly, to your point earlier about there being senior citizens time.
Okay.
They were all older white people. But I got my prime seat right in the middle of the theater, and they were not really reactive, as, you know, old white people don't tend to be. But it was still a really great experience for me because, like, I got to see it on the best screen possible in a comfortable environment. So that was me. Saturday, it was like 10 a.m., 10:30 a.m. And, you know, it was what it was. I wish I had the communal experience you had because I know in LA, people actually really get into it, and being in a packed theater just adds to that experience. So, yeah.
It really does. And so what were your you and Miss Kim's top line thoughts coming out of the movie?
Child, my mama did not come with me to the movies. It was her birthday and she didn't want to go. So I was like, I ain't gonna make you go, child. So I went by myself.
Oh, okay. Dang.
Yeah.
I thought we was gonna have a, you'd be doing them clips, of the homies.
It's just us squirrel friends this week.
Okay. Well, what was your immediate, thoughts, top line thoughts and takeaways from the movie? Spoiler
free. Going in, I hadn't really engaged deeply in the movie promo of it all. I'd seen the first trailer that came out, which was very obscure, not really getting into the plot of things. So I didn't really know what this movie was really about outside of it possibly having aliens and being like of the sci-fi genre. So I just like got in and gave myself over to Spielberg's vision. And it was so exciting to be in this type of world, I guess, where it's kind of a little bit of a chase movie, a little bit of an alien movie, a lot of bit of big J journalism. That idea being deeply embedded in this movie is as such a big theme, and also having like a plot device like that just felt so of a previous time where you have this literal thing that people are using to move the plot forward and do interesting things with the characters. And so that was just exciting and thrilling in a way that, like, I think they were looking for Project Hail Mary to be, which was the movie with Ryan Gosling that I mentioned a couple episodes ago that I was not as into as the rest of the movie world. But I was really into it, and it was just something that, like, I would hope we got more of, in the vein of how we're getting so much of like the horror thriller genre. I would love like if Black people got their hands on this and started making sci-fi with our culture injected in an interesting way, because that was one thing I was watching a movie like, now what are Black people at? Like what the hood got to say about this? We did get a glimpse in the movie of a Black family at one point, but it wasn't exactly it was more so like Cheerios commercial style Black family than it was like,
Sure.
What about you?
I do have a comment about Blackness, which we will say for the spoiler part of the conversation. But yeah, I agree. I think, I did see that first trailer that you mentioned, which was very, secretive, but I'm old, so I had forgot that. And so I had watched the latest trailer before going. And so I had a better idea of, like, I knew for clarity, right, that it was aliens, right, that it was an alien story. I think, so let me move some disclaimers, okay? I have a soft spot for movies about journalism.
Same.
I have a soft spot for movies about, groups of people coming together to hold, folks accountable, folks in power accountable, right? Particularly when those groups of people they look like me.
Yeah.
Huh? Okay? Those are my disclaimers. Because I say that because You're absolutely right. This movie plays a lot with some of those elements of filmmaking that is very nostalgic to many of us, that take us back to a particular time period. And also, there is some of that old thinking and positioning, that feels a bit in conflict with what I think the kind of overall goal and message and like what Steven Spielberg is trying to get us to consider and ponder, right, with this particular narrative. And so overall, I really enjoyed the movie. I told you off the recording that I cried.
Which
I
cannot wait to get into the spoilers to understand what the hell.
I gave you my disclaimer, Ray. I gave you my disclaimer, okay? Those are the things I'm paying attention to. We can talk about, how we can talk about a whole lot of other things, and we will. But it was 2.5 hours, and it didn't feel like 2.5 hours.
It did not. Yeah.
And it kind of reminded me in a lot of ways of one battle after another. How you have
Honestly?
this in terms of the pacing of the story, how it keeps you in it, right? How it keeps you on a ride, how the film, as you mentioned, melds a number of genres, right? Into this really interesting, entertaining, ride, even if some of the things don't quite connect.
Yeah.
Narratively speaking and story speaking. But wow, what a film.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they say this white man know what he doing.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can't believe you've evoked one battle after another. We were just getting that movie out of the site, guys. But we did have representation with one black character being Colman Domingo's character, who is not a Perfidia Beverly Hills type. We're going to just say
no,
that up
he
front.
is not.
It is not that.
No, he is not.
So how did you feel about the themes present in the movie? What themes stood out to you most in the movie coming out of the theater?
I think, again, with my disclaimers being made already, what stuck with me most was this idea of like the power of journalism, the power of truth, right? The power of an informed public. Right? For folks to see the evidence and make the decisions themselves, right? About how we all want to move and exist in the world. To me, that is the thrust of this film, not the otherworldly alien, piece. And not even personally there are some religious and spiritual elements that pop up significantly in the film. But to me, it is about, I think that's why I say I think this is a movie about journalism, right? Dressed in sci-fi drag, okay? And I am going to hold that for myself.
Ooh, the block is hot on your end over there, child. The sirens are out.
Oh, you can hear that?
Yes. But yeah, you touched on a lot of the themes that stood out to me, especially the bit about religion. I realized just in remembering the films of late that I've seen of Steven Spielberg that he has a lot of questions about just like society and how people receive information and the influence of religion on how people move in life. And we know Steven Spielberg is like one of the most legendary Jewish people. So seeing him contend with Christianity specifically in that way and questioning a lot of things through these characters, I found to be really interesting, like kind of like having that argument of science versus religion in a way, because that's a lot of what's happening here. It's like people believe things based on biblical texts versus like people who believe the science and things that are presented to them, and then how people make decisions on that. And just like those very specific types of tie-ins, I thought was interesting tension in the movie that didn't feel overbearing or preachy, although there were some times where I felt like there was some expository work happening in those very lengthy monologues that we got from some of the characters.
For sure.
But overall, like, I was really into it. And I think this will probably be a healthy point to kind of take a break and then come back with our spoiler conversation, because the more I talk about themes, the more I'm like, ooh, I'm about to slip into.
Yes. The last thing I want to say, and then we can jump, is that one, Colman Domingo will always work. And this movie proves why he will always work. I'll leave it there. Let's play the clip, okay? And then when we come back, we're going to get into the spoiler section of our Disclosure Day review.
Yes, and give some time for the block to cool down, because it is hot over there.
Okay, do you hear the blow dryer? They doing stuff outside the window. Hopefully he moving. But watch the clip.
There's something at the core of this film, which is really about our humanity. Realizing where we are today and what we're going through, or what we are right now.
People keep wondering, encountering the unknown. They are starved for the truth.
Hugo understands that Margaret and Daniel have been imbued with knowledge.
Daniel Kellner.
Who is this?
Do not go back to the house. I don't know who you are, but they're gonna kill you.
Margaret and Daniel are essential to the plan.
What are you gonna do?
Full disclosure to the whole world, all at once.
What they know could change everything. Religion, governments, all the things that we've set up to create our culture and our world.
It's the two of you. It's always been just the two of you.
Which is why we need them both to come together to understand the truth.
The only way for you to know your purpose is to go back to where it all began.
Whatever happens,
Don't you let go.
There will be no other day like tomorrow.
this is Disclosure Day.
All right, Tre'vell, so now it's time to really get into the plot of this movie. And since we went out talking about Colman Domingo, let's bring it back with him. I think he delivers the gravitas in this film. He had a line where I think he questions, like, is this a memory or a dream or something like that? I may be confusing that with another character, but yeah, Colman is clearly the emotional and like philosophical anchor here, I think. Do you think the script gave him enough to do, or do you think he was just there to drop profound lines in the way that Colman Domingo is known to do?
I do think the script, I do. Well, but I should note, I did do some reading and I saw that the role was actually expanded because for a number of different reasons. I think I saw something to the effect of his eyes and Steven Spielberg really wanting to, use Colman's eyes. But I think wherever the character landed, I thought it was so interesting. Yeah. I thought it was so beautiful. The ways that we learn more about his character, though his character is kind of just like a conduit, a kind of like a guide, if you will, through the film. That's not where the development ends.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the reason why I say Colman Domingo will always work, and this role proves it, is that gravitas that you mentioned. He has that thing like a Stephen McKinley Henderson, like a Michael T. Williamson, like those black actors that you see in everything, who are always working because of what they hold and what they can command and how they can convey so much in a tone that others would struggle with, right? Because in this film he has he has to be the grounded one.
Yeah.
He has to be the one who is most knowing about what's going on, but also doesn't know everything at the same time. And so he both is in control and also not in control, right? And has to, go with the flow of things. And I just think he captures that complexity so well in this film. But also Emily Blunt. Emily Blunt, I see you, girl. They was doing, she was, I don't know if it was prosthetics or if that's just her face, but she would do these things and you could see a little frown or whatever pop up on her forehead. And I was like, I feel you, sister. Yeah. I feel that you're getting these visions of possibility and where to go. I don't know. I went with it. Yeah. I went with it. What about you and Emily?
I thought Colman's character being kind of the leader of the movement of sorts, because he's positioned as the person who essentially brought all these people together, and he's leading the charge on getting the truth to the people, was such an interesting dynamic, considering how all of the other players around him were plotted throughout the film. He, to me, I saw some, in reviews I've read, people saying they felt like his character was underdeveloped, and I was just like, I don't see that, because he is really the central force of a lot of the plots moving forward. He's the one who brings together Emily Blunt and Josh O'Connor's character and weaves these things through, and ultimately one of the main set pieces is what we see being built around him in the background as we're seeing his shots. And I just found him to be such a pivotal character in this movie. And also, I really am curious about how something landed on you with the Emily Blunt character specifically. Okay. So we learn that Josh O'Connor and Emily's characters have essentially acquired or been gifted these powers by the aliens in the movie. And it, of course, harkens to things or themes of them being the chosen ones of sorts. But specifically with Emily Blunt's character, the way that they depict her powers or abilities, it gave me a lot of messianic vibes, where it was almost like she was the second coming of Jesus coming through as she's walking through spaces and touching people and letting them see their loved ones and calming people in a way. I was like, we just talked about the Testament of Anne Lee earlier this year, where we got that figure of a white woman being essentially positioned as Jesus. And I was like, Lord, this feels like another version of that, but differently. Did you notice that at all? Because I was like, what would this have been if this person had been a black woman? How differently would this have been received? Did the aliens choose the white people because they've observed Earth and realized that society will listen to white people before they will listen to a black person? What was the thought and the choice there? Did that at all ruffle you?
No, it did not. I did not receive that. I did not receive that. Now that you've mentioned it, I guess I can see how you did. But to me, in the world that is created here, it would be a white girl and a white boy. You know what I mean? In this world. And the reason why that didn't come up to me is also because I think because of the role of black people in the narrative. Yeah. Right? It is a black woman, two black women who make sure that this stuff gets out on the news. Yeah. Right? Yeah. It is a black woman at NBC News, Courtney Grace, my dog. This is where I can speak about Courtney Grace.
Yes.
I will forever remember your name, Courtney Grace. Okay? Because that last, 10 minutes of the movie or whatever it is, when she is detailing Oh my God. It reminds me of, there's this clip going around right now. You mentioned, I think before we started recording, that you have on your Knicks Blue. There's this clip going around of this white man and this black lady who are sports announcers at the Knicks game. And at the moment in which the team, wins, they're doing their commentating thing. And the improvisation and skill and delivery that is on display in that clip that so many people are loving, I think Courtney Grace demonstrated masterfully, right, in her 10 minutes or whatever she is on screen. I thought it was quite interesting, the racial makeup and the placement of folks. So it did not hit me as Mary Magdalene or whatever, or, Mary the mother of Jesus or whatever. This kind of Messiah-like figure for either of them. But like I said, you mentioned, and I'm like, oh, okay, I can see, sure.
Yeah,
I could see, because the casting is important. It all says things and means things. Yeah. I also am intrigued. I wonder about who got cast first and how may that have dictated, the bits and pieces of it. I don't know. But the folks of color being the primary ones, who are the leaders to the revolution.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Speaking of which, there was another black woman that didn't have a name. I don't even know if they addressed her, but she has a moment that stood out to me so much in the control room. I forget would it be? I don't know if she would be the control room operator. But like you hear her off camera just yell, "Yeah, I see it." I was like, that is a black woman.
Okay. No, yes. But that's
and then we get to see her doing her job later on as the scene.
That's another thing I love about this movie. You see journalism at work.
Yeah.
You see a newsroom at work.
Since we're here.
Okay. Go ahead. Let's go.
Since we're here at journalism. The one thing that I was just like, ooh, yeah, I have to get into like my fantasy world of sorts, because I can't think of, I don't know that there was a time where a newsroom that wasn't national news had as robust of a staff as Kansas City seemed to have in this movie. I said, damn. They are they are hella staffed, and I was like, y'all got like 20 people in the control room alone, let alone the people on the floor. I was like, now that is definitely what we're gonna have to give up to be in movie magic, because in real life, these newsrooms do not be that thick like that. They ain't been that thick since I've been out of J school myself. So that was something I was just like, I got to hear Tre'vell's reaction to this one, because baby.
Fair point. Well, but I think that's another example of that nostalgia element we were talking about, though, right? Yeah. Like the film is dated in a way. I don't necessarily mean that negatively for the record, but it is dated in a way. But you're right. At a time, there would be all of those people in those very specific roles. Today, there's probably a couple people doing two or three of those roles. But it was the energy of that scene. Oh my God. I know I'm the only one who really, I just was like, yes. Come on, black women who are like, we're putting it live now.
Yes. And that was the power of like movies to me, with how journalism has been represented on screen, to what I said about The Devil Wears Prada. Like that felt like a fantasy, in that like that approach or how news works in those settings is not how it actually works in real life. And it's just like, when I saw those images coming up, like that was what, like I was like, what excited me about getting into the space is being around all these people that were creating the news, and it's just like getting into the reality of it. When I was coming out of school, my colleagues or classmates who were going into broadcast news, child, this is when the rise of the MMJ started, where you had to shoot, produce, and edit yourself, child. So like,
yes, well, you had to be a one-man, one-person show.
Yeah, and so just like seeing Steven Spielberg's how he depicts media. I was like, yeah, this is definitely a boomer's point of view on this. And just to say, like, Steven Spielberg is pushing 80. I think he's like 79 years old or something. So it makes sense that.
But I love that. I love that, though, at a time such as this, in which, you know, newsrooms are being decimated, in which there are literally no more jobs for people to do this thing called journalism, in which local news, right, has been obliterated, if not, like, even the commentary in the film around, like, her being the weather girl and the weather girl dance, and her wanting to be on the anchor desk as somebody who's, like, serious and can do, you know, the new. I know people look at this movie and they see an alien movie and all of that stuff, but this is a movie about journalism.
This is a movie about truth telling and like sticking it to the man and like breaking down these gatekeepers that have kept things from the people out of their personal interests.
And it is a movie about empathy. Yes. It is a movie that is very clearly trying to get us to slow down, to talk to one another, to not be afraid of things that we don't know. Wasn't that one of the like, you know, main lines? You know, and I thought the film was quite effective in, at least for me, in that message and trying to get it across. I told you I cried. But also, I wasn't the only one. When them credits started running, bitch.
So did them tears.
You just, when you hear people just, you know, everybody, you know, getting themselves to, I thought it was just, I was trying to hold it in. Because again, it's a movie about journalism. I have a soft place for movies about journalism, particularly when the journalism wins. Yeah. Come on, you know. I thought it was just me, but I wasn't the only one. And that's when I texted you and I said, this white man, he know how to make a movie. Okay.
Yeah. I remember, Tre'vell, you questioning me putting this on our summer movie list. She was like, do we gotta see Disclosure Day? I was like, it's Spielberg. What do you mean? But we even got some lines.
Listen, this has quickly put itself near the top of my favorite films of the year thus far. And it was a surprise for me.
I love that. To your point about Colman Domingo's lines, there were a few quotes that stood out to me, which, you know, I like to call church notes, which I'm going to figure out a way to make this.
We haven't done church notes in so long.
We have not. But the first line that we get is the interpretation of Emily Blunt's character when she has those noises that she makes during the newscast, and it's interpreted as saying, "Don't be afraid of what you don't know." And I was like, ooh, that is a line. And the other line that really stood out to me was later on in the movie when Colman Domingo is, I forget exactly what he's referencing here, but he says the only way to control what's next is to understand what's past. And I was like, this is saying something to the importance of, one, education and knowing history of things, and how that informs or pushes culture and society forward as we're living in a world where we're seeing the government essentially try to diminish programs that are trying to give accurate history to the kids. And it's just like, there's so much of that in this movie where it's Steven Spielberg is clearly trying to embed and impress upon the viewers the importance of knowing, like allowing yourself to be open to receive the facts of things and you having the agency to make decisions on your own without the oppression or influence of a system. So those were just things that stood out to me.
I love that. The last thing I'll mention, and then we can go to our seated, skip it, or stream it ratings, although it's probably quite clear, is that you mentioned kind of the wrestling with religion and faith versus science that is, you know, here in this film. I do want to highlight, I don't remember her name, but the nun character who says something to the effect of, you know, this is my translation, but like, you think our God is so great that he only created us to exist in this universe?
And then when the character questions, when she brings up the point about us being created in God's image as a supreme being or something, and that same character, the nun, says, on Earth?
On Earth.
I said,
Hiya!
We're
Hiya!
shifting perspectives here.
Okay, I just got goosebumps. Okay, it was small things like that I was just like, oh, like there's intention here. Yeah. You know, and while there are a number of things that aren't tied in nice bows, there were so many elements and at so many points throughout this movie that I was like, God dang, this man know how to make a movie. Yeah, you know, I just kept saying it over and over. Oh, he know how to. There's some shots in this movie. Okay, we don't have time to keep going, but it was a really well done and well made movie, which is not to say it's perfect. Okay, which will bring us to our seated streaming to skip it review. Unless you have anything else to say.
I mean, we don't have to talk about it, but I want to offer this to the audience in the comments below. When you watch this movie, let us know what your favorite set piece was. What set piece and scene really stood out to you in the comments, and we can discuss that in the comments below.
I love that. Okay, yes, absolutely. So, seat it, stream it, or skip it. Ray Love Jr., where are you on Disclosure Day?
It goes without saying that this movie is an absolute seat it for me. As a matter of fact, I am making sure I go see this a second time because it's one of those that's worth a repeat viewing. So that's what it is for me. What is your verdict?
I am also a see it. I'm gonna try to drag my man to see it, you know, because I think he will really appreciate it as well. Because it's just a good movie, you know. But yeah, so we are both on the seated side of things. With that being said, let's see what the critics are saying about Disclosure Day over on the tomato meter. Okay, it is currently certified fresh at 80%. So, you know, many people like it, but a number of people don't like it. And that reflects a lot of the discourse I've seen online from a variety of folks. You know, some people really, really like it and others are like, well. And then the Letterboxd rating, similarly, about a 3.3 out of 5 stars is where that's coming down. So, you know, past 50%, but not quite, you know, knocking it out of the park. I would have given it a 4 probably, or maybe a 4.25, you know.
I gave it a 4 in my Letterboxd. But yeah, it was definitely been mixed reviews. And I'll say that, like, it's not a perfect movie. And I think that's what makes it an interesting movie for me. Is that through its imperfections, it was still effective. And it's not, I wouldn't even say this is Steven Spielberg's best movie by far, but it's still such a good movie. So these ratings make sense. It's going to land for some and maybe not for others. I don't think this is going to be a movie that cynical people will be able to grasp onto.
Certainly not. And we didn't even talk about the conspiracy theory of it all. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're not. And we're not. Okay, but you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It is maybe not his best movie, but he still got something.
Even not his best is still damn good. My God.
Okay, period. Now our Black Critic Spotlight of the Week. We're going to shout out Shaquille Lambert, based out of Toronto, who writes for CG Magazine and says, quote, Steven Spielberg's long-awaited return to sci-fi doesn't reach the heights of his previous all-time classics, but Disclosure Day is still a very entertaining thrill ride that's big on heart. Lovely. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Same. All right, well, that'll do it for our review this week of Disclosure Day. Of course, let us know what you thought about the film in the comments below. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And email us your thoughts at holla@seatedshow.com, and we will read those aloud as they come in. So, Tre'vell, take us on out before we head on over to Black Cinema Games.
Yes. If you are not already a part of our gang over at cdshow.com/join, be sure to do that. And as Ray said, we're going to take a quick break and come back with Black Cinema Games and what's giving us good vibes this week. Be right back.
Back again. And now it's time for my favorite segment this week and every week, the Black Cinema Game.
Pew, 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 pew. Pew, 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 pew.
Okay, Tre'vell. So before we were recording, you mentioned something about what qualifies a movie as a black film or classic. And this is where I said, this is going to come back to bite you in the ass because...
Here I go, getting myself in trouble always.
This week is the return of our Canon Cousin edition of Black Cinema Games. The Alien Encounter version. So...
this will not be good for me.
With that, I said I really wish that we had more black films that were alien encounters, sci-fi movies. And as I was doing my research building this game, I was like, damn, I really can't find theatrical movies in that vein. And so with this week's game, I'm going to give you a legendary black actor, the release year of the movie, and the box office performance of that film in a movie where we won't say it's a black movie, but these are black leads. And they share a thematic bloodline with Disclosure Day. And I'll also give you kind of like their DNA tie-in for how it relates to the movie, if that works for you.
Okay, I'm down. You always be getting creative with these games. So let's see. Let's get it started.
So I'm gonna give you the cousin name and all of those clues, and then you just have to guess the movie. Let's get into the first round with cousin number 1, who is John David Washington. Now, this was a recent release coming out in 2023. The box office bag for this one was $104.3 million worldwide. And a bit about this movie, John David was out here in the middle of like a whole world war between humans and AI. And they tell him to go take out this ultimate secret weapon, but it turns out the weapon is just a little kid-coded android. And now he's kind of risking it all to protect her. Now, how this ties into Disclosure Day is that it handles the deep and moral dilemma with the high stakes of an unsuspecting protagonist, forced to kind of navigate the dawn of a completely new, highly advanced reality that changes kind of the fate of humanity. And so can you guess the movie based on these clues?
I never saw this movie, so this could be completely wrong. Is it Tenet?
Dang, I mean, right actor, wrong movie.
See, that's what I'm saying. I don't.
Yeah.
Yes, I didn't see this. So what was the answer?
This movie was The Creator.
I definitely didn't. I've never heard of that.
I was actually into
I'm sorry.
That movie actually got a little bit of a... I wouldn't say the tears fell, but my tears welled up a little bit in that movie. So I think if you're into it, go check it out.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Okay, JD Dub.
All right. Cousin number 2 is John Boyega. The year this movie was released was 2015, and the box office bag for this was $2.07 billion worldwide. About this movie, John Boyega realizes his job as a space trooper is toxic as hell. So he dips, links up with the scavenger girl from a desert planet, and gets thrown straight into a massive galactic rebellion with all kinds of wild extraterrestrials. How this ties into Disclosure Day is that it captures the exact perspective of an ordinary insider waking up to the terrifying truth of a systematic cosmic conflict and jumping headfirst into the fight against oppression, interstellar forces. Can you guess the movie?
I also did not see this, but I believe it's Star Wars The Force Awakens.
Ding, ding, ding. You got it. All right. So we got your first point on the board. Shout out to you. Yes. I mean, at the point that it's $1 billion movie, it's clearly a franchise.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
It can't be too many.
Right.
Okay.
Cousin number 3 is Lupita Nyong'o. Now, this movie came out in 2024, so just a breezy 2 years ago. The box office bag for this one was $261.8 million worldwide. Now, about this movie, Sis was just out here trying to get her a slice of pizza in New York City with her service cat. But then these blind-ass aliens touch down out of nowhere and start tearing up the city the second anybody makes a noise. How this ties into Disclosure Day is that both films map out the terrifying day one chaos of ordinary people caught in a sudden extraterrestrial flashpoint, forcing them to adapt to a reality where the world changes forever in an instant. Can you guess this movie?
Oh my gosh.
It's another franchise.
It's a prequel. Right. But this movie is the prequel in that franchise. I can't remember.
Really kill you.
I can't remember the name. Go ahead. Just go ahead.
This was A Quiet Place Day One.
A Quiet Place. That's what it was.
I was like, I know Tre'vell knows this movie.
I didn't see it, but I did know it.
All right, we're gonna.
That's crazy. Right, I ain't seen none of these. That's wild.
That's how I be on it.
Okay.
Our next one is going to be Cousin Chris Tucker. Now I know you know this one because we saw this together not long ago. The year this movie was released was 1997. The box office bag for this one was $263.9 million worldwide. And in this movie, a regular cab driver gets dragged into a whole intergalactic mission to save the universe, but the vibes go completely left when he has to protect a loud, extra as hell space radio host who is doing absolute most while aliens are actively shooting up the place. How this ties into Disclosure Day is that it taps into the wildly chaotic, high-stakes spectacle of ordinary citizens getting unexpectedly swept up into a universe-altering cosmic emergency alongside bizarre extraterrestrial forces. Can you guess the movie?
Yes, this is The Fifth Element.
Absolutely, you got it. I was like, I done gave you too many clues for you not to get this.
You did. When you were like, we saw this together, I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah. 97? But okay, yes, The Fifth Element.
All right, so you got 2 out of 4 so far. We got one more, and this one
more to go.
This should be an easy one. I think you can get this one. It is Our Cousin Will Smith. This movie came out in 1996.
Nope.
The box office bag for this was $817.4 million worldwide. And about this movie, Earth gets an uninvited visit from some massive city-destroying spaceships, but a pilot and a tech genius team up to hack the alien system and show them exactly how humans get down. How this ties into Disclosure Day? This classic delivers the blueprint for the global catastrophe and mass hysteria that strikes humanity when the cosmic curtain is ripped away and first contact is violently broadcast to the entire world. Kind of how we saw in the film. Can you guess the movie? I know you saw this movie.
Is it Men in Black?
Oh no, Tre'vell, how did you get this wrong? I was gonna give you another clue just to get you to get this right, but you already did. Vivica Fox was in this movie.
Oh, Independence Day.
Yes. I'm gonna give it to you just because I want you to win, child.
I was like, when is Men in Black? I was like, Aliens. I was like, that was the only one I thought of, but like you're right. That is what Independence Day is about.
Yes. All right. Well, you got, what is that, 3?
I'll take 2.5. Just take 2.5.
I mean, you got the point. Why not take it?
Because I got, I don't know, ethics.
I'm going to give you a chance to put one more point on the board. Can you remember the 2 other movies that we discussed just this year that starred Colman Domingo?
Oh, my God.
I know you
lying. Colman. Okay, 2026.
One is a biopic where he plays a father, and the other one is a thriller where he plays a radio host. Michael, yes.
And Dead Man's Wire.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, shout out to you. All right. So now you got 4 points.
I was about to say Sing Sing. I was about to say all kinds of things.
Y'all see how short Tre'vell's memory is? We just talked about these movies months ago.
Literally. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yes, well, that'll do it for this week's Black Cinema Games. Let's wrap up the show with our Good Vibes Only segment, which is where we simply share with y'all our recommendations on what's giving us good vibes this week. Start us off, Tre'vell. What has you feeling good this week?
Yes. So this past weekend, one of our community members, I will say, in the collective community of, our friend group and whatnot, James. What is James's last name? I don't know.
I know a lot of James.
James is an executive producer on The Chi. That James. Anyway, he hosted a murder mystery party inspired by like Got to Be Real and like a Divas Gala or whatever. It was a whole thing. I was assigned to be Patti LaBelle. But in the process of doing that event, it reminded me of this wonderful piece of culture that I'm recommending today, which is the mic toss that happened at Oprah's Legends Ball.
It was so funny because all the white folks were like, what is going on here? My lord, this is really something.
Don't you change your mind? Yes, I have. I've changed my life because of you, Lord. I feel so free. I feel so happy.
For the rest of my life, I think that may be the most transcendently spiritual moment.
Okay, back in 2006, I believe it was. I know you seen it, Ray Love Jr. Okay, and so you got BB Winans and you got Shaka Khan and you got Valerie Simpson and Patty and everybody named Mama, Dionne Warwick up in the mix, I believe, if I remember correctly. It's just such a wonderful, fabulous, black ass, churchy ass good time with Maria Shriver's behind being like, oh my God, I hope they don't come to me. It's so good, so funny, so entertaining. Check it out if you have not already.
I love that. And shout out to James. I need you to know your friend's last name, child. It's James Rogers III.
Rogers!
He does do a lot of like.
I don't want to be disrespect. Okay, let me mind my business. Keep going. Let's just keep going.
He does a lot of cool interactive things in that way. So nice. I'm definitely gonna go and revisit that Oprah's Legends Ball.
It's so good.
That was such a moment. She did a post on TikTok or something revisiting like the photo album or something of that, and I was like, you can release the photo album of that as a commemorative gift or item that
I will buy it.
Gladly buy. I will too. Anyway,
I will absolutely add it to my collection.
Of course. What's giving me good vibes this week is actually another podcast. It's the latest episode of Cannonball with Wesley Morris featuring the critic Angelica J. Bastian.
This is not really a movie about people, right? This is a movie by a person who has seen people not in real life, but in the movie.
Yeah, there's something very inert about this movie and a lot of horror movies today. But, maybe this kind of goes to something I have been thinking about. Too many of these writer-directors are not writers. They need to put down the pen and call a friend. Y'all are not Billy Wilder. Please stop.
Mm-hmm. And so in this episode, they're dissecting the viral horror movie Obsession. And it's a deep dive that really brilliantly kind of validate anyone who isn't buying into the massive internet hype that's been going around about this movie. And honestly, I have been fighting for my life with my friends, arguing why this movie isn't as great as they think it is. They're talking about the lead girl should get nominated for an Oscar for this movie. I'm like, y'all are really doing the most. I was like, it ain't really doing that. But in this conversation, they unpack the film's structural flaws and they beautifully articulate why it doesn't live up to its Gen Z phenomenon status. We get like sharp analysis from Wesley and Angelica, who we've talked about loving her criticism on the show before. They break down why the narrative just feels hollow, making you realize you're not crazy for swimming against the current. And so that's validating for me, because I'm like, things are not landing for me in this movie the way that they are for the internet zeitgeist. And I'm just like, no one else has really tussled with it or really tried to unpack the reasons why. And they beautifully did it for me in this episode. So Cannonball with Wesley Morris featuring Angelica J. Bastion is what's giving me good vibes this week. And that's going to do it for this week's episode. So send the people out, Tre'vell. What you want to send them out with?
Yes. Thank you all so much for being here. As always, like, comment, subscribe, tell your mama, your daddy, your sister, your brother, your auntie, and your uncle. Okay? Whoever you think would enjoy the kinds of deep dives and cultural criticism and film criticism that we are bringing to you every single week. Okay? And if you have not already, be sure to join the Black...
Now, you ain't never did that before.
I know, right? And if you haven't already, please be sure to join the Seated Movie Club at seatedshow.com/join.
Yes. Child Tre'vell might be an alien and they starting to glitch.
Well, I just might be.
Alien
okay?
superstar.
Okay.
All right.
Flick. Okay, goodbye.
If you enjoyed this episode, share with a friend. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a like and tap that subscribe button. And if you're listening, give us a 5-star rating and review us in your podcast app or wherever you're tapping in today. It'll really help folks find us as we grow. Seated is an independently funded production, and your support can help us go further. Consider becoming a card-carrying member of the Seated Movie Club at seatedshow.com/join, where we'll bring you more of this popcorn-worthy content, special events, and more. And how do we do all that we do? Well, you know it's not by ourselves. Our theme music was created by Buckroll and animation by Ashung Adi, with creative consulting by Jade Fox and publicity support by House of Heralds. This week's episode was edited by me, Ray Love Jr. Seated is a co-production of Slay Jean and 5011 Media. It's hosted and produced by Tre'vell Anderson and Ray Love Jr. and filmed on location at the Walk Good Yard. See you at the movies. Holla! I got my Knicks blue on. Go Knicks.
Is you ready?
You got to, for Spike Lee.
Listen, I like New York too, okay? The site of the first Cheetah Girls movie, okay? Growl Power. All right,
of
you
all
ready?
Things.
What? A black classic.
Oh. Is it now?
Oh.
Cheetah Girls would be a black classic?
Oh, do you know how many black hands are behind the Cheetah Girls?
I'm happy to know your definition of black classics is so broad when it comes to black cinema.
Why should it not be?
Anymore.
Why should it not be?
More on that later.
More on it later. Why should it not be? Okay, let's go.